Well, welcome back to the channel. Hopefully everyone had a wonderful, blessed Christmas. Going into the new year, we made some homemade pemmican the first time I made it. Ground up some of my moose meat from this fall. Some fresh blueberries we dried down, a touch of sugar, and some beef tallow. And let's get at it. So enjoy. I learned a lot. Hopefully you'll learn something too. Leave some likes and comments down there if I can do anything better, if you see anything. Otherwise, God bless. Well, I picked up some beef fat at the grocery store. The butcher was nice enough to get us some fat trimmings. I've never made tallow before, but since we're doing pemmican, or we're going to try our hand at pemmican using some of the moose meat, I needed some tallow. And generally tallow comes off is the fat from the kidneys, but you can use regular rendered beef fat as well, which is what I'm trying to do. So we'll have to take this down quite a ways and then we'll use it. So let's get on with the rendering here. It's rendering down nicely. Got quite a ways to go still, obviously, but it's rendering down. Getting some good clean oil in there, or fat. So we're getting ready to dehydrate some blueberries to put in the pemmican. There's some blueberries in the freezer that I'm going to put in there and dehydrate for this. And then for meat, I'm going to dry a sirloin tip roast, and this is from the moose that we shot this fall. So we'll get that going too, but that one we're going to dry in the oven. But these blueberries will probably take about 12 hours in the dehydrator. So let's get them started. Straining it again into a jar. This way it gets most of the crusties out. Nice, beautiful beef fat. It's supposed to be pretty healthy for you too, as far as cooking oils go. Well, two beautiful, or a pint and a half of rendered beef fat. I'll probably only use about this much for the pemmican based on how much meat I have out. We'll get it in the fridge and let it set up. Should come out nice and crisp, white, and then we'll go from there. Alright, I'm thinly cutting my roast, my moose roast. It's going to go on a rack in the oven at the lowest temperature I possibly can set it at, which is 170, so I'm going to have to watch it. I'll prop the oven door open a little bit, and then it'll be in there for a few hours. There we go, we got it in the oven. Nicely thin, nice and thinly sliced, sitting on the racks to dry. We'll check it in about 2 hours. Yeah, the blueberries are nice and dry. I'll get those taken out, put in a bag for later. Got the Meat's all done. And we'll get them all ground up. So here's my dried blueberries, my dried moose meat, and my beef tallow. First time of doing all of this. Now I've made jerky before, but never dried moose meat or any type of meat this much. And the blueberries started off with about a cup and a half, and I don't know, I probably got a half cup out of it. And they're extremely dry. So we're gonna get on and try my first attempt at making pemmican. I've got the blender out. So we'll try this and see what's going. I've got to get the tallow melted down some, so I've got the wood stove going. I'll set that on there to warm it up slowly. Once that's melted down, then we'll get to grinding and put this stuff on some parchment paper and let it set up. There we go. It's pretty dusty in there. So I found that the blender, even though it's what you need to finish with, I used the food processor to get some of the bigger chunks broke down to smaller pieces because it was just too much on the blender to break it from start to finish. But I finished in here and it's looking pretty good, so let's dump it in a bowl. Oh yeah. It looked like chunks came out, but that's actually just all powder. And we're going to get on to the berries now and get them blended up. We've got the moose meat and the berry dust all mixed up. Tallow is almost liquefied, and we'll add it. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it inside these little mini muffin things and let them solidify in there, and I think it should just pop right out, hopefully. Hopefully it don't ruin it. Like I said, this is my first attempt at doing this, but it should be pretty good because you can't get any better protein than fresh moose meat and fresh blueberries. So go from there. Okay, after viewing a few things on our first pemmican, I'm going to add just a little bit of sugar. It's less than a quarter cup to all this, just to give it a little sweetness. I tasted some of the dried meat and it's pretty bland, and I know sugar's not probably the best thing, but it's dry and it's not going to hurt it. So we got it all mixed in. So it's blueberries, a tri-tip roast from the moose, which was extremely lean. And now we're going to add a little bit of beef tallow that I did the other day for the first time. So this is a bunch of firsts. You're supposed to do it just enough to get it to stick together. Now, I know I used the food processor and the blender here. It took a little bit of time because we got older style stuff. But if I end up doing this up in Alaska at the cabin, I'll probably have to use a mortise because I just don't have the power to support those, nor do I have those appliances. So it's starting to come together. And then what we're going to do is, when my little one and I go out to do our survival stuff, this will be one of the foods that we take. Of course, we'll try it before then, but this will be one of the foods we take out with us. She's very excited learning some of the skills that we've been teaching her. So those will be coming up probably later in January, those videos. Just been slowly doing a few things here and there. Almost. So if you've made pemmican before and I'm doing something wrong, please let me know in the comments. Like I said, this is my first time and I'm excited. I think it needs just a little bit more oil, but let me see here. Yeah, it's still a little bit crumbly. Just a touch more. Okay. I think that's going to be plenty right there once I get it mixed up. Then we're going to put it in these mini muffin pans and and then we'll put it in the fridge so the tallow solidifies faster. These will just be little bite size. Use the next one. Well, there's what it looks like. I've got 14 little things of pemmican. We're going to let it solidify and then we'll package it up. We will eat one later to see how it tastes. In the meantime, it's looking good. So our pemmican looks like it's done. Pop right out. I just had them in the fridge for a little bit. said, I'm going to wrap them in cellophane, then I'll wrap them in aluminum foil. Probably overkill since they're shelf stable. I am going to keep them in the freezer though, just so they're out of the way and all that. But I'm going to, here's the tasting. You know what? It's pretty good. I added that little bit of sugar. You can taste the sugar. Got a hint of the blueberry in there, and the mousse. The mousse is so mild. So, yes, I could have this for an afternoon lunch out in the woods. It'd be great. So, that said, hopefully you learned something. I did. That's my first time making pemmican. God bless. Hugs. See you on the next video.